I've had few offers, interesting ones, but ultimately I went for the Apeks just because of the lineup they presented to me. I was incredibly keen to work with these guys, and when they put the lineup together, and when I saw the names, I got especially hyped about Chawzyyy, which is our youngest edition. I kind of wanted to play with him because I remember he played really well against us in practice in my previous team, and when I heard he's just 16 years old, I was mind blown, honestly. And I always love to play with these young guns to try to develop them as well, help them to prolong their careers and kickstart their careers, so to speak. So yeah, ultimately it was the lineup that was deciding factor the most. I've been playing for quite some time, and I've been always on a team where there was certain star. But here, it's more of a team play, team game, and we're trying to work with what we have. We're maybe not as explosive as some other tier one teams, but I do believe that fundamentally we can approach them.
Yeah, you mentioned that you don't have this star player, but we have seen the big teams always have this Saivu, Symbol, top fragger potential every time. Uh, how can you counter that with your team play? What are the strengths of having five equally good players, if you can say that?
Yeah, I always try to bring up a heroic example here because I do feel they are not really in a position to call any of them star players, but at the same time they're all pulled together in important rounds, and they're active all in the same way. I'm pretty sure communication is key in these aspects, so we're gonna bang on improving our team play through communication. That's going to be vital for us to grow, and yeah, I guess you could say that this is just going to be our focus. I know it is 100% doable to have a great team without a star player or star oper, and we just have to find our way of working that is comfortable for all five of us or six of us if you include coach, and we can do wonders. But it's going to take a lot of time, just like it took for heroic. We're a fairly young team right now, so. It's only improvements day by day, but those improvements should be coming very soon in official games as well.
This Chawzyyy guy, the young gun, do you think he can develop into being this star player for you?
Yeah, I definitely think that Chawzyyy has the potential here, and I'm not saying it because he's my teammate and it's a PR statement right here, but the guy is ultimately really good at pretty much every aspect of the game. If it's entering, if it's clutching, if it's nade kind of gameplay. He used to be Oper on his previous team, so he's really strong with that as well. Pretty much really good all-around player, but what we were trying to develop with him is his communication, initiation, and overall being more assertive on the server, because it feels like when you're a young guy coming into the team of veterans, which some of us are, you might get a little bit shied away, and we just really want him to take certain part of responsibility because he's in positions on the server to do so, and that's our main focus right now. So that's what we're working with him and some other players as well.
Talking about the results and your matches so far with the team after having played with the team for 3 months, how pleased are you? What do you think the first time has been for you? Talking about
Yeah,
results.
in general, I feel like during the past 2 months that we've been working together, or 2.5 months, we've been improving steadily, which is a good sign always. Um, I think we've been very much on par with tier two, tier three teams. In somewhere in top 30 range. We've been playing some really good games with lineups that have been established for a long period of time. But honestly, what we are struggling with a lot in practice and in official games as well is facing tier one opposition. Usually we get overrun by them, but that's expected because they are finding the flaws in our fundamentals, I guess, that we're trying to put really huge focus on, and they're just good at exploiting the mistakes. They win duels, and it's hard to play against that. That's something that we want to play those games as much as possible because we learn the most out of them. But overall, I feel like reaching top 30 for the young team that we are this early, it's a success. But obviously, we want more, so we're working hard towards it.
In this CS:GO landscape with tier 3, tier 2, tier 1, where do you see yourself Apeks when you find this consistency and maybe having learned a bit more? Where do you see yourself?
Yeah, so I always compare it with my previous team. It's in our nature to compare all the time, and I've been in my previous team for almost a year or more than a year, and I definitely see us being better than what I had in FPX. And with that team, we reached like top 20. We were pretty stable in top 20 or top 25 for sure. So I can definitely see Apeks doing a little bit better, and it's just I feel like matter of time and matter of our approach and practice. And the ultimate ceiling for this team might be like I'm definitely hoping that the major is one of the tournaments that we can definitely get into. Obviously, the Antwerp didn't work that well for us because open qualifier, we're just not really good at that so far. But that's something that we have to work on, and I can definitely see us getting like playoffs of the major, etc., and then take it from there. I think it's going to be a huge achievement, but obviously it's too early to tell. It's long-term goals, and we're in it for the long run, so it's going to take time.
I want to talk a bit about the Operation Riptide because tomorrow it's exactly 6 months ago when it was released, and there was a lot of talk and discussion right after the release. But what are your thoughts here 6 months after?
So when it comes to dropable nades, I always like the change even from the beginning, and I think it's a good addition to Counter-Strike. I think it's deepens and like improves the overall quality that the player should really be communicating everything properly to his team and vice versa. So it creates like a skill ceiling that is a little bit higher than it used to be. So I always welcome that in a game such as Counter-Strike because it can be a little bit boring at times or maybe stale because we've been playing same maps for pretty much eternity. But at least the gameplay changes, spice it up a little bit. And Dust 2, honestly, I don't want to talk about Dust 2 really because we've been avoiding that as a team. It's been our permaban. But from the puck play, and streams and watching other teams play on it, I generally feel like it's really good, and the meta really is evolving even there. Even if maybe at the first sight it's hard to see, but I definitely see that some players are more comfortable with certain strategies that were unheard of before. Like before the operation came in and the update itself came in. So there's involvement, and I like that.
Yeah, as I mentioned, there was a lot of talk and discussion from both experts and pros talking about this being a bad change. And but do you think it was how can I say it? The problem wasn't that big after here 6 months later. Do you understand my question?
Yeah. So in the beginning, it was obvious that people were kind of cheesing it away. That changed by, you can do smoke execute with one guy, etc. Well, you quickly learned after one day of update being in the game that this is not really the case, and people are not that stupid as it looks. So on pro level, I feel like it changed the way game is being played, but it's changed it for the better because the game itself is harder to master. That's what I mentioned before as well, that the skill ceiling is indeed increased, and that is something that all pro players should welcome because you have basically new technique to master. And when it comes to not pro play, when it comes to like bugs and matchmaking, etc., I still feel like it's underused and undervalued. People are not really dropping each other names, but it's just part of the communication. And obviously people want to avoid that because they just want to shoot, you know, in Counter-Strike. But this just shows how communication is important in all aspects. So hopefully we can see the change that it comes to general gameplay as well.